Hello everyone and welcome back to the Slavic Union here in Hearts of Iron 4 with the Millennium Dawn mod. So last we left off, we correctly became the Slavic Union under Yegor Brusilov. We are nationalist, of course, for that reason, but actually the conservative factions and communist and even partially the reactionaries are still fairly favorable. Well, besides reactionary, not really reactionary, but the other two, conservative and communist, still have a fair amount of following, but that's no matter for us because we are the Slavic Union here. And as we are nationalists, we need to seek out nationalist allies. And the two we can go for is Iraq and Syria. There might be others, but those are two I definitely know. Proto-fascists. Well, I want to see what this says, because I haven't actually read this. Militarism. So we are still somewhat of a democracy. So, okay, so yeah, Iraq and Syria that's basically what we are. Okay, well, maybe Slavic Union isn't exactly the most accurate thing for this sort of national party, but whatever. This is what I called it, and this is what we're going with, and I enjoy it. So, yeah, so my goal is to seek out them and to create a faction with them, but world tension isn't quite at that point, I believe, even for us to join. And we cannot puppet countries, so that's unfortunate, but alright. So yes, we're going to go ahead and continue on. Some things have changed since the last episode. This is all the same. This is all the same. Oh, I fixed the industrial tree. I realized it was me being stupid. Some of the stuff I was updating, and oh yeah, no, this actually changed. It's just motorized. Yeah, that's not what it's supposed to be, but whatever. Oh yeah, damn it. Okay, well, whatever. What has changed is I correctly put, as I was talking in the last episode, mechanized is now just IFEs, and we have light mechanized for APCs, which is an entirely new unit I'd add in. That was a pain in the ass. Yes, I know my little graphics is not up to par with paradoxes, but that's because, you know, I just copied it off of Wikipedia, so that's that. So now, on to what we're going to do now. We can actually still apply for CSTO, but that's not really what we're going for, nor do we want NATO. What we are going to go for, however, is the industrial focus instead. And I psyched you out. You thought I was going to go for factionalism or something, right? Not today. And besides that, are we making... Yes, I forgot we are training troops. This is correct. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, so yeah, so as you've seen, I have fixed some of the problems I was dealing with last episode. Of course, some of the grander things like the law and government, stuff like that. Yeah, that hasn't changed. Something I thought I fixed, but I probably just messed up, and something I just fixed a minute ago is motorized. It is still the classic World War II icon when it needs to be updated. So I'll just update that like probably when I do Air Force, which I think I'm going to work on Air Force tomorrow, which will actually be today for you guys, since this is being recorded the night before. Let's go for prepared defense. Yeah. Actually, I think there is enough text, to be honest. Yeah, I actually don't think it's too bad, the amount that we have now. Which means I might actually need to tweak this around at some point, because we're going to have too many. Because especially if you're researching all this stuff, like... I mean, we already have tanks, and that's good. Which, might add, we should probably start making some T-64Us, because... Oh god, I'm so sorry. Just knocked my whole damn mic over. Because we can actually keep those for a while. Well, it might be better... Well... we already have... That's 13 versus 36. Nah, we'll make main battle tanks. Modify government. Okay, we have to wait. Well, this is... Oh my god, this is so much better. Yes, we'll go for that. Industrial focus. Wonderful. Civilian buildup. But yeah, so that's what we're going to go ahead and go for, is some main battle tanks eventually. For the time being, we're just going to continue on the path that we are on, because we're not going to be making enough of anything else to really matter anyway. Yeah, we can go ahead and deploy all 9 of them apparently. Yeah, we still have hardly any troops, so we're getting issues with that. So let's go ahead and make our general here. He is Fyodor Yudenich. And you, sir... Well, in the case that something happens... Actually, no. We're going to justify war goal in Moldova. We need 50 political power, that's right. So I don't think we're quite ready yet, but we will eventually. And that is what matters. So Fyodor over here, he is going to start exercising, because we need some regular troops. That is right. Well, these models are old. One day they will change. I might just be able to do it, because I might have somebody who can teach me how to do it. And that'll be very important, because, well, yeah, I don't understand why that flag issue happens. Anyway. Yeah, so I might have somebody who's going to be able to teach me how to, make 3D models, and that could be a huge difference, because, like as I was saying in the episode before, I think that one of the most important parts of any mod in Paradox games in general is, in fact, the immersion value. There's nothing we can grab here. Nope, not really. So that's why I think it's so important that, like, all these little stuff, like having your tanks, like, I mean, obviously this isn't exactly, because it's not done yet, but, Gen 4, Gen 5 isn't really that descriptive, but, being like, oh, I'm making T-64U tanks, that's a lot more immersive than, oh, I'm making some modern Gen 2 IFVs. It's that sort of idea. Holographic sight, there we go. And that's kind of why I mod, sort of that reason. I think it's so interesting why we have a problem with flags. Like, I know I'm just zooming in and out, but as you can see, these flags are not accurate whatsoever. That's Mauritania. That's Alaska. Alaska can be released? What? No, that can't be Alaska's flag. But I feel like it is at the same time. Who knows? But, that's... I can't believe I forget their name. It's probably like Ireland or Cote d'Ivoire. That's Mauritania. That's Jamaica. Like what? Like why? I don't. It's so strange how it does that. It doesn't really matter, but I have to wonder why it does that. I have to. Okay, we're gonna put those guys out. We can add more lines. We're going to add as many as possible, which apparently is not a lot. We're going to just put them under Fyodor. 9 of you will cover the south. And yes, just keep on training. Okay, you guys are still going down there. Wait, why did you guys get down there so fast, but the other ones are not? That's quite strange. Anyway, we're not going to do a claim on Moldova quite yet. We're going to instead be going for partial mobilization first. 600. Oh, whatever. Partial mobilization, and then after that we will go ahead and claim on Moldova. I'll speak of the devil. Partial mobilization. See, that's going to be a big difference, because now we should have a bunch of factories. Yes. Actually, like, I know I'm just shooting my own horn here, but man, I absolutely love, even if like nobody uses it on the marketplace, like just for myself, I absolutely love the colors on the map. It just looks so much better. I mean, there's some, like I've said before, that could be improved, but even now it looks really nice. Okay, field hospital, that is a need. Actually, no, because we're not using field hospital, so maybe not a need. Do we already have a recon company in our infantry divisions? No, we have engineer. Well, that's what we want. Can we put anything else with... Okay. That's it, I guess. Oh. Well, alright then. I'm just gonna go down all these civilian buildups. Which is not that descriptive, but that's okay. Okay. We're gonna toggle one off here and put one up there. Let's see, we're already at 75% production efficiency cap. Means there's one... How many steps left? Like, did I miscount over here? Because let's see. We still have 1, 2, or let's see, 10, 20. Wait a minute. No, these are industrial robots. Oh, okay, so we have 10, 20. Ooh. I am off by 5. How does that happen? Alright then. Let's see. Recon. Artillery. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm really confused now. So we're at a cap of 75. Assembly. Oh, that's why. Because I have assembly line equaling 5%. Yeah, that's not supposed to be that way. Okay. Well, more to fix. And it probably won't be fixed for a while. And it's like, we're off by 5%. It's because assembly line... Everybody should have assembly line at the start of the game. And it's just a tech for everything else to branch out from. So it doesn't really need stats. Just like... See, it's kind of like... Here, grain of salt. It's actually kind of strange. If you go back here, to a lot of the stuff in the tree, like I understand that, like, you know, a lot of countries are still using 1955 AK-47s. Oh, I don't, that's not, okay, that's not quite what I mean, but they're still using older technology, like the AK-47, which is from 1955. So that's understandable why we would have it go back that far. And you see, I was the person who designed both these trees. Gosh, it's late. No more recording after this, let me tell you why. And I was the person who designed this tree. Low manpower, of course. Oh, shit. We should be justifying war goal. Sarabia. You, sir, need to be... that's not what I meant. I wanted you to just become a field marshal. Okay. Back to the story. So I designed the tree, and I could have changed it, obviously, and of course I did have input from other people, but there really is no reason to include 1955 tanks, and hardly a reason to even include 1970. And 1990 would soon to be deprecated as well. However, that at least follows the one tech before the start date of how Hearts of Iron 4 had already worked with, you know, the Great War technology. But the reason is, and you see, it even makes less sense for tanks because most people, even when they do build tanks, the countries that do build tanks, even when they build older models, they're still building upgraded older models. And you see, that's what this T-64U and T-64BM2 and stuff like that, that's what it represents, is older models that are just being upgraded. Because besides the main countries, they're not, if they're not building tanks, you know, then, this is not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that the idea for having tanks go back that far is so that people who had worse technology could still build tanks. But the problem is that in reality, people that were that far behind in tech in the real world would not be building tanks at all. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's kind of, there's kind of no reason, but, you know, it's kind of like, why not? There's really no harm in doing it. It just makes extra work for myself, which I'm notorious, apparently, for putting extra work on me for no reason. Let's see, I gotta say, the balance is not quite right yet for the amount of technologies, because sometimes feels right and sometimes it doesn't feel quite right. So let's see, when is this going to be done on Moldavia here? The 27th of June 2003. So it's going to be June this year. Luckily all our troops are training. Once they're done, we can just have them rest. And we'll start stockpiling more. Wow, we have more than enough convoys. More than convoys than we'll ever need, so that's good. I also need to deal with the support equipment, but like many things, so many things are based on it that it's not quite the time. We'll go ahead and go with thermal weapon sight. I could certainly see possibly revamping some of this stuff after I get done with it. Because I wouldn't want to walk away from it if I didn't think it was done. Like, I wouldn't want to complete the whole tech tree from, like, here, just keep on going naval, air, doctrines, all that, and then once I'm done, just be done with it. No, I definitely want to go back and make sure everything is how it should be before I decide to embark on anything else. Next thing, we would like to go... Okay, we cannot go for extensive conscription quite yet. Well, what can we do? Entrenchment speed. What we can do is get small arms research time, which is actually quite a bit. This will take it down. Yeah, it's a fair amount. Because I'm not actually sure if everything here is balanced, to be honest. Like all the percentages for, 2% soft attack and stuff like that. Are y'all done yet? Not quite. That's okay. 31 divisions is a fair amount. That's how much men is that? It's 334,000. Is anybody protecting Moldova? Nobody's protecting Moldova. Well, that's good for us. The Slavic Union shall grow strong. What I'm actually kind of sad about is that we cannot puppet a country. So, I mean, my goal is to take over all the Slavic land. So, something like over here, something like that, and then all of Russia. And that would be all of Slavia strong. But, we're going to be getting at odds with a lot of other people. So what are we going to do about them? Well, we are going to do our best to release them under nationalist ideals and hopefully put them a part of our faction. But after we beat CSTO and NATO, there's not really going to be much left to fight. So. Because none of the other, most of the countries in the game are not balanced yet, so it's not like we have to deal with Africa. Because you see, in normal Hearts of Iron 4, Africa has nothing going for it. Absolutely nothing. It's just, colonies. But now, Africa is actually a part of the game just as strong as anywhere else. Well, not necessarily as strong. A lot of the countries are still, newly industrialized countries, but it's still a lot better than the Africa we see in Hearts of Iron 4. So I think it's actually going to be a lot interesting. It's a lot different of a dynamic than in Hearts of Iron 4 with, what you consider your end game. Also, where do we want to go? Infiltration or assault? Well, or reinforcement. You see, I like infiltration because you get the supply consumption and the land night attack, which I think are both very important. Also, we can tell you to stop exercising now. It's actually about right on time as well. Is it the 7th? No, the 27th. Okay, we still have a while to go. But the other problem that I see happening is that with how Hearts of Iron it works, is that everybody in the world is just going to start joining NATO or CSTO, depending on their ideology. Which is a real problem. That's a real problem. Because when there's, when when ISIS started fighting Syria and Iraq, the whole world didn't start joining NATO. That's not exactly what happened. Also, we don't exactly have a battle plan. I don't actually know if Moldova has an army per se. So, Slavic Union goes to war. The diplomats of have failed. They will now sort out their differences with their army. It is about to go down. That's awesome. MDF. Oh yeah, that good tag. Somebody forgot to do the def tags. Yeah, they don't have an army. Okay. Oh, the build up for absolutely nothing. That war lasted 3 days. You see, what's interesting is that that's actually relatively accurate, I'd say, because if it lasted longer, there would be something going on in the rest of the world with backlash. But since it just was like that, I don't think there'd be backlash. So now on to Romania. That's really our only next option here, which is going to be a lot bigger of a problem. We are going to justify our war goal on, Moldova. I thought that was Moldova. Nope, apparently not. See, we actually haven't even incurred too much world tension yet, to be honest. And luckily, it goes down, much like Infamy or Bad Boy or whatever you want to call it, aggressive expansion in the other games, their titles. Okay, well, we still don't have that modern of equipment, so. And we need to be making more troops, so we're going to have to hold off on a lot of that moving. Bucharest. Something like that. You see, I know I can make better plans than this, but why would I do that? Why would I make things easier for myself? I also find it quite hilarious that Transnistria, I mean, since they are really a recognized country, right? It would kind of make sense that we would just leave them there. We're like, no, you're actually a part of us, whether you realize it or not. Oh yeah, look at that. And anyway, we don't want to incur the wrath of Mother Russia quite yet. Yes, not quite yet. I feel like that's almost better than it used to be, the amount you get from non-core territory. I'm actually sure that's a lot better. Huh. Anyway. How early are we going to be at war? 26th of February. Okay, so I am going to, well, first I'm going to take military build-up. I am going to take... What am I going to take? Army logistics, sure, why not? And we'll save up for when we're at war to take other things. We can start going for modern fatigues. What about going for improved construction tools and then going for modern fatigues? Those fatigues. Those are the first things I did in the new style with the black glow around them. Good times, good times. On this one, okay, the smart camo is a lesson, let me tell you what. So I went from a company website that had like 4 basically the same uniform that had just 4 different patterns on them, because I want to represent smart camo that changes its background based on like its background, right? The problem was, though, is that they were all the same uniform, but they're at slightly different angles. So in order to make them fit, I had to shrink parts and enlarge other parts. So I had to enlarge the bottom and shrink the top, which made it end up looking like the person who'd have to have been wearing it be really fat. So it looks quite strange, but I only realized that once I'd actually saved it as a PNG, converted it to .dds, and sent it off, and I was like, well, not much I can do now, so I just went with it, and it will be a reminder of my mistakes. Some other mistakes to go through here. This angle is totally wrong. I want it to be more like this angle. Even that angle's a lot better. It would have looked a lot better. Looks kind of strange right there. This, some other stuff. If you actually look at the night vision, you can tell slight differences. All these pictures are actually representative of the different generations. So this is actually generation 1 in there, actually generation 2, actually gen 3, actually 3+/4. And then that I took the same 3+ night vision and used to sharpen in Photoshop. So I actually put in the small little details. Some other stuff that's kind of silly. Let's go through it. Fort 221, yeah, that's fine. MZ15, yeah, that's fine. So you have the Vepr 2, and then I was like, first of all, that weapon's from like somewhere in the 2000s, not 2020, but it's not being used, so I figured why not. And the Vepr 3 that I put here, because I just changed the name of it, and it's the same gun, is just a Vepr 2 that I found that had customization on it. So it looks different, but it's not actually different whatsoever. We're going to hold off on modifying the government. We need steel from America. We need armored operationalist. And we need military buildup. There's that. Yeah, we're already at 80%. Oops, that's not intended. Whatever. Oh yeah, we also have a lot more factories now. That's good. We're going to keep on building them. I want a solid base for our country, for our Slavic Union. And we'll start making military factories. Let's keep on going through some of the development stuff. Software, for example. These are all sort of correct software stuff. The only thing that's kind of strange is that even in like the 1955 example, you're still using like a Mac. What's it called? A Mac monitor, which is kind of strange, but what can you do? Oh, Moldova's done. Well, let's not focus on that for now. Let's go to war. Do we actually have enough troops to do this? That's a good question. They do have some armor. Maybe is the question, is the answer I'm going to give. What I should have been doing was training. Is that as much as I can train? Yeah, that's okay. We're actually going to hold off on it, and we're going to train up those troops first, which I should have been doing a while ago, but I'm too busy getting carried away doing other things. So we're just going to keep on going. Back to looking at this stuff. So NC machine tools, all this stuff. This graphic right here is the same thing as a CNC machine tool, computerized numerically controlled or computerized numerical control machine tool. It's just because DNC was like, there's such a thing, but it's whatever. Modern machine tools, these are all modern. They're just different pictures. I think this one's from like India, so it's more modern, I guess. Future machine tools, this is literally computer integrated manufacturing, which is this first technology here, so that doesn't really work. Basic industrial robots, all this stuff, everything from like modern, improved, advanced, and future, they are literally all currently modern. Same with every single one of the manufacturing things. This nanoscale manufacturing one, that's literally like a vinyl record thing. I mean, it looks it, right? I couldn't really find a good image that was going to fit there. Orbital zero gravity factory, that's a satellite. That has nothing to do with factories. You know what? Don't even worry about it. That was strange. That one's actually correct. So is that one. That one isn't. That's just an oil well. Basic construction tools, these are all correct. I mean, relatively. I mean, this is all modern, I would say. All the heavy equipment, this is all modern, so. And I don't know why. I mean, like, that makes sense. Like, that's the trucks they use generally for, like, at quarries and stuff. I don't know why, but it's like, you know what? Green makes sense for having advanced automated mining. I mean, there's going to be a real difference. People will look back in the 2020s and think how stupid we were for using yellow heavy construction equipment when green is obviously the correct color. So, some stupid shit over here. You see, like, normally you have all these gens. These really mean nothing. Like, they're just kind of something that me and Ackley pulled out of our asses. Like, Gen 3, I mean, they probably had, like, Gen 2 was probably, like, straight after World War II, and Gen 1 was probably, like, in World War II, and then IFEs and APCs. I don't know. It probably should be, like, Gen 2. That's generally where I start them, is Gen 2, saying that everything else before is just Gen 1. Deploy units. Oh, that's probably a good idea. Okay, we're going to stop you guys, get you guys on the front, and we're going to exercise you for a little bit. Actually, no, we're not going to exercise you guys for a little bit. We're going to let you deploy, because next episode we're going to go to war. I know it's an abrupt stop, but you know, that's just kind of how this stuff's going. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share, do all that. Comment. Comment's a good one. I like comments. And I will see you guys next